Did you know that modern U.S. aircraft carriers are designed to operate for over 75 years while remaining crucial for virtually any mission? The USS John F. Kennedy, CVN-79, stands as a prime example of such a long-term investment by the U.S. Navy. Its capabilities are continually refined, even during its construction phase. But what unique solutions enable the military to keep such a colossal project literally and figuratively afloat? We'll explore that question in today's discussion. From scouts to strike force, the evolution of aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers have a history spanning over a century. The initial idea of using them as the Navy's eyes for spotting enemy ships with aircraft was dramatically reshaped by the Imperial Japanese Navy during World War II. They revolutionized naval warfare by consolidating multiple carriers and 400 aircraft into a single strike force, the Kido Butai, possessing greater reach and power than dozens of battleships. The infamous attack on Pearl Harbor, where 6 Japanese carriers simultaneously struck the U.S. Pacific Fleet, cemented these vessels as the centerpiece of naval power, instantly elevating them to the top of the naval hierarchy. Since then, invaluable lessons have been learned, and large-scale nuclear-powered aircraft carriers have become the quintessential expression of American military might. These titans empower the U.S. military to launch devastating air assaults against land and sea targets for weeks, even months, accurately striking hundreds of targets in a single day. Crucially, unlike other combat platforms, their strength lies in not requiring mandatory access to shore bases for effective mission completion. Wherever these floating military islands travel, they remain sovereign American territory, their actions constrained only by U.S. authorities and, to some extent, by their adversaries. This advantage was profoundly evident during the 2023 Israel-Gaza crisis. While U.S. bases are globally distributed, their coverage isn't uniform. For instance, the nearest American airbase to Israel is in Sirlik, near Adana, Turkey, 300 miles away. Flights from there would need to traverse hostile Syrian airspace, requiring an additional 100 miles of travel and fighter escorts, further complicating reach. Not to mention, Turkish authorities might hold sharply opposing views on such operation. In stark contrast, U.S. aircraft carriers can position themselves in international waters off Israel's coast, moving as close as needed. The primary risk in this scenario is the threat of Hezbollah's anti-ship missiles. However, 4 squadrons of F/A-18F fighter bombers, or even the more advanced F-35s, can maintain continuous communication with any point along the eastern Mediterranean coast. U.S. authorities can then issue combat orders without needing coordination from a host government. Aircraft carriers perfectly embody the big stick ideology articulated by the 26th U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. No other existing or planned weapon system or combination of smaller systems possesses the lethality, flexibility, and resilience of a giant nuclear-powered aircraft carrier with its organic air wing. The Gerald R. Ford class, a new era of supercarriers. The crowning jewel in the U.S. Navy's strategic arsenal, which operates 11 powerful aircraft carriers, is undoubtedly the Gerald R. Ford-class vessels. This class of cutting-edge supercarriers is designed to supersede the existing Nimitz class by integrating dozens, if not hundreds, of innovative technologies. The U.S. Navy aims to possess 10 such carriers. Currently, the USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, is in active service. The John F. Kennedy, CVN-79, is undergoing outfitting for its 2025 entry, and the Enterprise, CVN-80, and Doris Miller, CVN-81, are under development, slated for service in 2029 and 2032, respectively. A yet-to-be-named CVN-82 is anticipated around 2036. More precise plans for the remaining Ford-class ships hinge on budget allocations. Today, our focus is on the Supercarrier John F. Kennedy, CVN-79, which boasts some remarkable distinctions. The lead ship, USS Gerald R. Ford, despite its groundbreaking nature, faced numerous challenges that its successor, the Kennedy, managed to sidestep. Northrop Grumman Shipbuilding secured a $374 million contract in early 2009 to prepare for this giant's construction. However, the first steel cutting ceremony in Newport News, Virginia, which officially launched construction, didn't occur until February 2011. By late 2012, construction delays prompted the U.S. Government Accountability Office to recommend delaying CVN-79's detailed design and construction until software deficiencies were resolved. Though the Navy and Department of Defense rejected this, costs for the USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, had already inflated by 22%, reaching an astonishing $12.9 billion, excluding R&D. This reality quickly became apparent, leading to CVN-79's keel being laid in Newport News only in 2015. However, specialists leveraged this time to significantly enhance construction processes for Ford-class ships. Consequently, at its 2019 launch, the USS John F. Kennedy was 70% complete, a stark improvement from the Gerald R. Ford's 50% at a similar stage years prior. This efficiency meant the crew avoided complex on-site installations, with 70% of the ship's components prefabricated and assembled in factories. A key factor was the rapid advancement of digital design since the early 2000s, involving virtual simulations of each part before manufacturing and installation, coupled with CVN-79's modular construction principle, which allowed pre-installation of electrical equipment, pipelines, and cables onto modules before ship assembly. This resulted in faster construction, simplified tasks for specialists, and, crucially, reduced overall cost, a significant win with the U.S. Congress for military hardware, advanced systems, and unmatched power. The Kennedy's dimensions closely mirror its predecessor, 1,092 feet long and 256 feet wide, with a displacement of 100,000 tons. Its multiple decks, standing at 250 feet tall, are only slightly shorter than New York's iconic Flatiron Building. These immense dimensions provide ample space for 90 aircraft, essentially creating an independent mini-U.S. Navy afloat. Its air wing comprises legendary fighters like the Boeing F/A-18EF Super Hornets and cutting-edge Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, alongside Boeing EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft, Grumman C-2 Greyhound transports, Northrop Grumman E-2 Hawkeye early warning aircraft, Sikorsky SH-60 Seahawk and MH-60S Nighthawk helicopters, and, in the future, the MQ-25 Stingray UAV. The Kennedy, like all Ford-class carriers, replaces the Nimitz-class steam catapults with the revolutionary electromagnetic aircraft launch system, EMALS, and advanced arresting gear, AAG. EMALS uses linear induction motors for smoother aircraft acceleration, reducing airframe stress. AAG also employs electromagnets to slow and stop landing aircraft. While hydraulic systems are time-tested, electromagnets are superior for carefully landing UAVs without imposing extreme load. Both systems offer greater flexibility, require less space, and demand less maintenance, translating to significant saving. A painful point for the USS Ford was the Advanced Weapon Elevators AWES, which faced numerous technical issues transitioning from hydraulics to electromagnets, compounded by certification delays. These problems affected CVN-78's overall readiness and damaged the Colossus's public image. However, CVN-79 has largely avoided these issues thanks to extensive bug fixing. 11 AWEs rapidly move ammunition from internal storage to the deck, minimizing traffic jams in hangars and on the flight deck. Experts state these elevators allow aircraft rearming in minutes, not hours. These new systems couldn't function for a single day without the most potent nuclear reactors in carrier history. The Bechtel A-1B. The USS John F. Kennedy boasts two such reactors, providing 27.7% more generating capacity than the Westinghouse Electric Company-built A-4W reactors. Requiring refueling only after more than 25 years, closer to the middle of their service life, the A-1B delivers 700 megawatts compared to the A-4W's 550 megawatts. This not only eliminates the need for service steam on the ship, but also reduces maintenance personnel requirements. The ultimate technological highlight of the USS John F. Kennedy is its updated Enterprise Air Surveillance Radar (EASR). The fleet plans to equip America-class landing ships with identical radars, starting with the LHA-8 and the planned LXR. EASR replaced the costly dual-band radar DBR, originally intended for the futuristic Zumwalt-class destroyers, which migrated to the lead ship Gerald R. Ford after the Zumwalt program was scaled back. The cost difference between EASR and DBR was reportedly $180 to $200 million, as the Ford's launch radar alone cost the Navy a staggering $500 million. The CVN-79 itself was less expensive than its predecessor, with an estimated cost of $11.39 billion versus CVN-78's $12.9 billion. However, the exact future costs for integrating cutting-edge systems, like the combat lasers leading American defense companies are developing, or electric armor concepts for Ford-class supercarriers that would leverage their reactors' immense power generation, remain undisclosed. As we noted, the USS John F. Kennedy promises to impress us in the coming decade. Do you believe such colossal aircraft carriers justify their immense value and status? Or perhaps you prefer battleships? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification button for more content like today's.